This is a project I've been working on the side, which is adding fractions in the form of a over b plus c over d. So this could be a half and a quarter, but this is not to explain how the program works. It's to show you examples that do work. So this program prompts you to put in a couple of fractions, and we're going to do 2 over 13 plus 6 over 17. Okay, so 2 13ths and 6 17ths. Now, the program actually shows you everything that you need up here, and this is trying to prompt you to multiply by a times d because there's a property that's known as cross multiply to some students, but it's actually just creating equivalent fractions with a common denominator. So we're going to take 2 times 17, which is 34, b times c, so 13 times 6, which is 78, all over b times d, which is 13 times 17, 221, and 221. So again, AD, BC, BD. Now, after you find these common denominators for these fractions that you had up here, we're now going to add these two numerators together. So 34 plus 78 is 112. And your denominator, BD, stays exactly the same, 221. And by end result, now it wants you to find the greatest common factor, but you can also simplify by using common factors. Now, we can try 2, but 2 doesn't work. We could try 3, and 3 doesn't work. So if you keep going and you get frustrated with this, you can always just type in 1 to see if it's prime. Oh, this one is prime, I'll be darned. Prime means that it can't be simplified any further. Let's try another example, one that does simplify. So let's do 7 12s and 5 6. Now you could use a least common denominator approach for this, but this is an approach that doesn't require least common denominators. It just requires common denominators. So again, same deal. AD, 6 times 7, which is 42. Oops, not 41, 42. B times C, 12 times 5, which is 60. And B times D, which is 72 and 72. Why? Because we were trying to find common denominators. Not necessarily the least common, but a common. So in our previous one, we added both the numerators, and we're going to do that again. So 42 and 60 gives us 102, and the denominator stays exactly the same. Okay, so we just added everything. We scroll on down, and we need to find common factors. Now, 2 can go into both of these because it's even. So 102 divided by 2, let's see, 2 goes into 10 5 times, 2 goes into 2 1 time, and 2 goes into 7 3 times with the remainder of 1, 2 goes into 12 6 times. So 102 over 2 simplifies to 51, 72 over 2 simplifies to 36, but we need to keep on simplifying. So up to this point, we started out with this fraction with these common denominators that led to this fraction set, which simplified to this, and now we just need to keep on simplifying. But these are not even and even again. So a number that does go into both of these, 3. And there you go, your fraction's fully simplified to 17 over 12. Case in point, case in point. And if that wasn't the last possible factor, then this program would ask you to keep going over and over and over again. I'll show you an example of how that occurs. So here's one that goes 5 6. So I'm just going to put in a 6 here. And 2 12ths. And again, we're not looking for lowest common denominator. We're just looking for a common denominator. So again, we take our a times d, 5 times 12, which is 60, 6 times 2, which is 12 because of our b times c, all over bd, which is 72 and 72 again. Now, 60 plus 12 is 72. And our denominator stays the same, and that's also 72. Now, I could go on and on and on and try to find the greatest common factor, or I'm going to show you what happens if you don't put in the greatest common factor. It's going to ask you to divide, in which case 72 divided by 2 is 72. Wait, 72 divided by 2 is not 72, that's 36. 72 divided by 2, 36. And you could keep going on and on and on. Wait, 2 doesn't go into 9. See, at this point, we started out with 5, 6, and 2 12s, which led us to 72 over 72, and now we're just trying to simplify, and we could keep going. Let's see, what goes into 9 and 9 apart from 9? Well, 3. 3 goes in, 3 goes in. Oh, final answer is 1, because 72 over 72 is actually 1. Or, using the same process, we could have gone back through and seen, oh wait, they both are 72, so what happens if we do 72? 72 just happens to be the greatest common factor. So if you're looking for this particular program and just adding fractions, I'll put the link up on the YouTube page and we'll see how this all goes.